Hello.
Hi, Christina.
Hi.
I think you're muted, Stephen.
Yes, I was. Thank you, sir.
Hmm.
How's it going, guys?
Going
Hey,
good.
what up?
Hey, Paul.
What up? What up? What up? Hey, Paul.
Hey, good to see you guys.
Likewise, it's been a while.
Yeah, work is man, it's really stretched me and I got back from this past weekend, so just trying to catch up.
I get it. Fantastic. Well,
Yep.
I'm actually driving and traveling myself, so we've got a few hotels we're gonna jump into, check the underwriting on, and yeah, knock this call out. See if we got any questions, and keep on moving that needle. Christine, you want to pull up the first hotel?
Okay. So we'll start with the Ramada.
Sure, let's do it.
All right. The Ramada by Windham in Jacksonville.
So this is a particular asset that I had looked at some time ago. I was actually working with the seller whom I bought two hotels from before in the past, and he's interested in selling it if we can get to a strike price that makes sense. Um, why don't we go through just the high level information? Christina, when was this hotel constructed?
Built in 1984.
So this is an 84 build, interior corridor. Is that correct, Christina?
Yeah. Interior.
Yeah.
Yes, interior.
Yeah, interior corridor. How many keys are we looking at?
150 keys. Sorry, Stephen. This is exterior corridor hotel.
Is it exterior corridor?
Exterior,
Okay,
yes.
I thought this was an interior.
Exterior.
Okay. And
150
so
keys with
go ahead.
150 keys with 250 parking spaces.
Fantastic. What's the acreage?
7.33 acres.
So really nice footprint for the actual land. Do we have an indicator of how much storage or meeting space is on the property by any chance?
The meeting space is 10,000 square feet.
Okay. And I don't believe we did any underwriting as far as adding storage lockers or any self-storage. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. It did not.
Okay. So let's get Nick engaged and see if we can shore that up as far as how much square footage of meeting space and amenities that we could potentially repurpose and look at for self-storage. Dan's
Okay.
on the call as well, so maybe Dan and Nick, you guys can get together. We've underwrote this, and I believe, and we have an offer to the seller at 10 million. They would really like to see something closer to 11, and I think with the self-storage, we should be able to get there. So let's go into the next slide and take a little bit a deeper look at the property. So the pictures look decent. Hotel's in good shape. I love Jacksonville. It's an emerging market. Next slide.
It has
Here are the
kitchenettes.
pictures of the, yep. And some have kitchenettes as well. And it looks like we have a nice pool area. Next slide. Great freeway presence, being close to the freeway for frontage and advertising. So that really helps as far as lease up and advertising. Next slide. And here are the analytics. So I just pulled over so we could chat. Looks like the population growth is negative. And well, actually, excuse me, 5.4%, which is great. I was looking at the line just below that. Exit price being $215,000 a door. Rents are good. Love this area. Let's go ahead and look at the next slide. So this is for a purchase price of 10 million. Dan, as you can see, decent returns at $10 million. I believe we can even increase these returns by adding storage lockers and more of a self-storage element. So let's figure out how we can add some additional NOI to this deal and see if we can get closer to $11 million on this purchase price. Next slide.
Okay.
We'll move on to the next hotel.
Let's move on to the next one.
So the Baymont.
Baymont in Orlando. All right. So this is the one I believe we just received recently, kind of light on the parking space. If I recall, the acreage is around 3 acres. Let's go to the property summary.
This is the interior corridor.
This, yeah, interior 3-story corridor, 130 keys, and yes, actually 2 1/3 acres. So relatively small footprint and sort of light on the parking spaces, kind of at a 0.91 ratio. Open in 1999. It is franchised. Let's go ahead and look at the next slide. Here's some more pictures. Pool, some amenity space, landscaping looks like it's in good shape. It is an interior corridor, which is not as desirable as an exterior corridor, largely due to the fact that you are opening your front door into a hallway versus to the exterior, which gives you a little more natural light. Next slide. Pictures look good on the interior. Looks like they got LVT for flooring. Paint's in good shape. So we're looking probably a little bit lighter on the cost of the CapEx to do the conversion, which is probably going to be closer to 15,000 a key. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next slide. Kind of a 10,000 foot overview of the property. Great location. Love Orlando. Next slide. Diving into the analytics, exit price is decent. I would like to see that be a little higher for Orlando. Population growth, not as strong as what we were seeing in Jacksonville in our earlier project or earlier property. The rents are strong, and it definitely is a strong market. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next slide. And this is at a purchase price of $6 million. Didn't really pencil. Well, at $6 million it does. Did we get a counter back from the seller on this one, Christina?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
So
not
started
yet.
off at a little bit lower of a price point. Let's see where the seller will land as far as a purchase price. But we know that we can execute at $6 million. Any questions on these first two? All right, let's move on to the next one.
Hey Steve, do these hotels typically have like low vacancy? Is that how you target them, or what is like some of the targeting factors for these?
It's a combination of factors. Sometimes these are burnt out property managers. They're kind of owner managing themselves. They may be in a position where they can't refinance due to higher interest rates. It really not necessarily is dependent on vacancy or occupancy being kind of low. What you're going to find is, you're going to find cases where there's going to be a significant amount of CapEx needed to revitalize the property to get it competitive again. And so with that being said, it's sometimes better off for the seller to consider selling. And so we can look at, opportunities that will benefit the seller, maximize their net proceeds, because if they were going to sell to another hotel operator, there is a very well case they're not going to get, maximum returns, because another operator is more than likely going to want a significant price haircut in order for them to execute their business plan. So, that's kind of a long-winded answer, but we look at it not necessarily just from a vacancy or a low NOI, but most cases than not, it's burnt out, owner occupied, or owner managed type properties. Great question. Let's
All right,
jump
all right,
into
thank
this. Yeah, yes, sir. Let's look at this red carpet here in what is this one this is with Indiana. We looked at this one just recently. We have a project that we're working on, fairly close to this opportunity. Got it for a great purchase price per key. This particular property, to kind of bolt on to your question just previously, it had received a demolition order from the city based upon a lot of open violations and code violations. And so the seller is in a position, or the owner is in a position, where they kind of need to sell in order to stop the bleeding, as you will. So right now they are looking for a strike price of 2.8 million. And of course, we're going in at a price that's closer to the project we're doing in this same similar market. And right now I don't think they're as pressured to move forward, but it doesn't currently pencil at the seller's strike price. But I believe that there's going to be some additional motivation here based upon a demolition order from the city to eliminate this property from the map, as you will. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next slide and go to the property summary. So this property here, built in 74, 112 keys, interior corridor, 2-story, on a nice piece of land, just under 8 acres, zoned for multifamily. So something that we're interested in, but it's going to be a pretty significant lift as far as the external or exterior CapEx. The pool needs to be redone. Pretty much the parking lot. A lot of the paint and landscaping needs to be addressed. So this is going to be considered kind of a heavier lift, but I believe that if we stay in front of the owner, there's a good chance that we'll be able to pick this one up. Next slide. And here are some more pictures. Next slide. Location, great location. Kind of in a smaller tertiary market, but certainly one that is performing fairly well. Let's go ahead and look at the analytics and talk about the market performance. So we're seeing an exit price very similar to a project that we're working on next door. It's currently under contract that we're working on. So we're anticipating about $100,000 per door on the exit. Population growth is decent. Absorption rate is a little low, but again, the population growth is.
You're on mute again, Stephen.
Thank you for that. The cost basis is low, but if we can get this at a great strike price, those rents will definitely help this deal pencil. Next slide. And here's the underwriting. I think this is at the 784, which is the $7,000 per key that we currently have another property under contract. So we kind of feel like we need to be somewhere close to where we're currently under contract with. And so we have some pretty strong data and comps to support that argument. And so this is where our current offer sits. Sellers countered back at 2.8, and we'll follow up on this one in a month or two and see whether or not the seller has come to reason, is willing to negotiate a little further. So that's a good opportunity, but this is something that we're kind of going to put on the back burner for a moment, let the seller sit with our offer, and he'll find that we're going to be his best solution. So this is kind of a wait and see. So stay tuned for how this unfolds. Next slide.
That will be all for the hospitality.
Fantastic. Dan, do you have any office updates or any conversion updates you'd like to cover?
Yeah, we have a few updates, nothing to go over as far as presentations specifically, but to touch bases on the 3040 Post Oak that we've discussed in previous meetings. We decided to pass on that offer. Nick and I looked at the different analytics for self-storage. The market there is just highly oversaturated with self-storage in the Houston market. So that property will not work for us, unfortunately. So we decided to move on from that. The broker is continuing to work with us and scout properties for us to look for more opportunities. I've had a few other updates also. We discussed the Jefferson Road property in North Augusta. I've had several meetings or phone conversations with different people in the planning department there. So we are looking and hoping to move forward and get that property under contract here shortly. Or under LOI. The city has shown some interest in making the changes that we need to add the vehicle storage. So hopefully we can get all that straightened up and lined up and get the ball moving on that one. But that's about all I have for the updates there. I know Nick has been completely swamped with his W-2, and some of our underwriting projects have been a little bit slow in that avenue with the self-storage. And just a lot of the office to multifamily underwritings have not been working out with some of the opportunities we've had there. I did happen to talk to a broker out of Arizona, Stephen. I've mentioned him before, Keishan. He was giving me some information today that he's finding that a lot of the traditional hotel buyers are having a hard time getting current hotel properties to pencil and underwrite them. So hopefully that might be some kind of indicator for us that we might see some lowering prices dropping here shortly as well on the hospitality side.
Yeah, the market's definitely shifting. I'm seeing it, and I mean, now is a better time than any to basically buy some commercial real estate. So lots of opportunities are coming forward, and I think we're going to see lots of opportunities in this space. Just stay tuned and keep on pushing.
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic. So, Paul, how's your onboarding going? Do you want to schedule some time to meet with Dan, Nick, and myself and talk about some exciting opportunities to get you engaged upon?
Yeah, actually, after this, I'm gonna have a chat with Dan. I think Nick's supposed to be there as well, so that'll sort of be like the first onboarding discussion I have. So
Fantastic.
yeah, that should kick it off, and then I kind of have a better idea of what I'm doing. But yeah, I just like have been behind.
No, not at all. It's life. So just stay engaged and things will unfold and you'll find some exciting opportunities, and just appreciate your enthusiasm and willingness to learn, and that opens it up to the call to anyone who wants to learn about more about conversions kind of offline and get some one-on-one coaching. Certainly reach out to Christina and I, and we'll schedule something where we can talk further about sourcing opportunities and working together on potential conversions in your market.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, that's all I have. I wanted to pull over and hold this call and keep that momentum going. We're looking to put the Garnet in Orlando under contract officially come Tuesday. So we kind of finished the red lines with the seller. So that's an upcoming project in Orlando. Unfortunately, the Gainesville Select did not work out. We canceled that contract. We found a pretty significant mold intrusion in building 1000 looks like the seller was not necessarily being forthcoming and very open to sharing that information prior to us spending money and putting it under contract. But that's one thing I want to emphasize. Those who are considering conversions, certainly during your due diligence, if you're looking to put something under LOI, you want to walk each and every unit and do your physical due diligence, at least a physical visual inspection, so you can get a sense of the condition of the property, and most importantly, what your costs are going to be as far as doing that conversion to multifamily. But that's all I have for now, everyone. I appreciate your time today on this warm Thursday. I don't know what the temperature is out where you're calling in from, but it's 97 here, and gosh, I don't even know. I'm in like the center of the state of California, kind of en route to Northern California, but certainly appreciate everyone joining and look forward to catching up with you guys next Thursday on our next call.
All right. See you then, Steven.
All right.
Yeah,
Take
sounds
care,
good.
everyone.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.